How do you do? My name is Pierre Aumont. As you see, I'm indulging in a Frenchman's favorite pastime, sipping an aperitif in a sidewalk cafe. And where? Where else but Paris, my beautiful city of Paris. I say my city because I was born here. But since I spent so much time in Hollywood and in New York, I've learned to know and love America. So much so that I like to call America and France both my countries. I've just finished a picture here. And I'm glad I delayed my return to Hollywood, for I have just seen something that, as a Frenchman and an ex-soldier who believes in a free world, a free way of life, has made me very proud. It is the story of COMZ, the United States Army Communication Zone, Europe. The supply force, which is the very lifeblood, the staying power of the American defense network in Europe. I've had the opportunity to witness the COMZ story, and in a moment, I would like to show it to you. My acquaintance with COMZ began with a visit to its headquarters at Orléans, France. It was here, during my first talks with the commander of COMZ, Major General Henry R. Westphalinger, that I began to realize for the first time how vast is the job of equipping and supporting a modern army. The commander had arranged for me to see at first hand how COMZ does this massive job, so that I could report it to you with understanding. There was, as you will discover, much to see. When I was asked to tell the COMZ story to the American people, I had no idea what an intensely dramatic story it was. It is a story which begins with the needs of combat units stationed in France, in Germany, and in Italy. Getting the right weapon, ammunition, supplies, the equipment to the right man at the right time. This, in simple terms, is the vital mission of COMZ. It is not a question of any one weapon or one type of ammunition. COMZ must supply every weapon system in the defense arsenal of the United States Army. For example, the M60 machine gun, which fires the NATO caliber .762 cartridge, about 60 of them in the space of 5 seconds, or 700 to the minute. Or consider the small but deadly hand grenade, an essential for the fighting foot soldier.
Elevation 900, elevation 900.
The powerful 4.2-inch mortar, using high explosive shells. And the versatile recoilless rifle, which makes mobile light artillery out of a jeep. The guided anti-tank missile SS-11, directed by its operator with deadly pinpoint accuracy. The 105mm armored howitzer, mainstay of artillery firepower, must be supplied along with yet another kind of ammunition. Larger still, the 280mm cannon, firing its massive projectile. And still there is more. Here is a tank flamethrower, whose stream of gelid petroleum, delivered in flame to an enemy, is highly effective. The delivery of liquid flame by air is an extension of the flamethrower technique and of the supply responsibility of COMZ. For the armored divisions, the new M60 tank provides increased range, speed, firepower. The tanks themselves, of course, together with their ammunition, parts, and fuel, are supplied by COMZ. The means of swift movement, delivery of the right kind and the right amount of firepower to the proper place at the proper moment. All of these essentials of success in combat depend upon availability of the equipment, supplies, ammunition, weapons, fuel and services which make that success possible. This is part, only part, of the supply mission of COMZ. The next stop on my itinerary was to visit the men of... Recently arrived from the United States, these men were not left in doubt as to why they were in France, what their mission with COMZ would be. They were now part of a working team, and their key role in this free world defensive alliance was made clear by the officer who welcomed them.
You have been assigned to an organization known as the Communications Zone, a vital part of the United States Army in Europe. We are here to fulfill our commitment as part of the NATO team. You're in France primarily to do one thing: stop the spread of communist aggression. If war should come, COMZ supply lines and American troops would be the mainstay, the bulwark of the NATO forces. Many battles have hinged upon the availability of materiel. The job of troops stationed here, your job, is to see that the United States Army throughout Europe gets this materiel. It takes men, competent men, to operate the trucks and the ships and the barges that move the millions of tons of military equipment through COMZ channels each year. Your work is cut out for you. Yes, your job to move the weapons, ammunition, fuel, tanks, and missiles. This is the task of the United States Army Communications Zone, Europe.
Yes, France is the logical place for COMZ, with good seaports, such as here, in Bordeaux. La Palisse. And Saint-Nazaire. France also offers the advantage of excellent railway facilities for the overland transport of heavy equipment. Also good roads for truck transport, though there may be at times a rather tight squeeze in some picturesque village. And of course, there are modern superhighways, direct high-speed links to the key areas of Europe. And finally, a number of excellent airfields able to handle the largest of cargo aircraft. All this combines to make France the logical setting for the story of COMZ, an organization preoccupied with movement, logistics, the military science of putting the right supplies in the right place at the right time. The fighting man who needs a fresh clip of rifle ammunition has a very specific requirement. No substitute is accepted. Nor can the crew of an M60 tank replace a broken track block with the one designed for the M113 personnel carrier. So it goes. 1,000,001 items of material, each item a problem in itself, and each handled smoothly, with disciplined efficiency, by the United States Communications Zone, Europe. One of COMZ's most effective innovations in solving problems of supply is a new method of fast delivery called roll-on, roll-off. Truck trailers, which have been packed in the States, drive directly off the specially designed ship which brought them and are never unpacked until they reach their final destinations. Compare the speed, efficiency, and economy of this technique with the older, more time-consuming and therefore money-consuming method of unloading cargo at the dockside. This roll-on, roll-off technique saves thousands of man-hours and tens of thousands of dollars while delivering vital military cargo faster than ever before. Another time-saving aspect of this technique is the relay action, which keeps the materiel moving without delay toward its destination. At relay points, one tractor is exchanged for another, quickly, smoothly. A system of quick connect fittings reduces the time required by several minutes. In moments, the loaded trailer is again on its way to the people who need it, through COMZ depots in France, Germany, and Italy. These relay points and depots form a vast and specialized network across free Europe. In France, there is Verdun, also Captieux, a central supply point for ammunition. Ingrande, with its many acres of warehouses and service buildings. Braconne, a general depot where vehicles of every type are processed for delivery. Chinon, and many others across France. Moving onward into Germany, there are depots at Misol, Kaiserslautern, Gießen, Pirmessens, and others. 1,000 separate activities, each designed to meet specific needs. To the south, in Italy, Still more of COMZ's truck transports are on the move, over routes which are often picturesque as well as purposeful. Camp Darby near Leghorn is one of the main supply centers in Italy. But of course, transport by truck is only one method used by COMZ in its supply mission. Through a vast network of pipelines built by COMZ, flow millions of gallons of gasoline, aviation gas, jet fuel, diesel fuel. Together, they form COMZ's largest single item of supply. One that demands a fuel distribution system of tremendous complexity and truly massive capacity. Huge control centers to direct the pipeline flow. Tank farms to provide working reserves. Pumping stations. Distribution points. And automation to coordinate the routing of fuels to destinations all across free Europe. COMZ takes nothing for granted. Here, in its petroleum laboratory at Donge, all petroleum products are pre-tested for quality and performance. This is only one of many quality control laboratories, staffed and operated by COMZ. Petroleum distribution begins at Donge in France, where tankers from the United States unload their liquid cargo. There are also emergency facilities for offshore unloading. From the central point at Donge, the pipeline goes underground. Then across France. And ultimately underneath the Rhine, going on to link up with NATO pipelines which lead into Holland, Belgium, and West Germany. COMZ's pipeline network saves the United States government millions of dollars each year in commercial storage charges. And it moves petroleum products at 1/10 the cost of shipment by rail or water. So effective is this pipeline system that it is able to meet all the requirements of both the United States Army and Air Force, as well as supplying our Canadian and German allies in Europe. In coastal cities of Western Europe, I found yet another aspect of COMZ's supply mission. From busy ports such as Bremerhaven in Germany. Leghorn in Italy. And Rotterdam in Holland comes a steady flow of heavy stuff. Construction machinery, tanks, armored personnel carriers. The equipment is loaded onto river barges to be floated to destinations up the Rhine. This presents at times an interesting contrast. The modern weapons of today's army passing the ancient castles of another era.
To handle the diversified fields required by the new complex army, COMZ has introduced highly specialized troops and units, such as the United States Army Aerial Support Center in Normandy.
The Aerial Support Center utilizes C-130 aircraft stationed at Evreux. In addition, the fields of Evreux, Dreux, and St. Andre are at our disposal. COMZ, therefore, stands ready to support the combat troops via airdrop, anytime, any place, with everything that these troops might need. At St. Andre, we store and maintain personnel and cargo parachutes in support of the Army in Europe. As required, COMZ's parachutists jump with the loads to assist in the recovery of critical equipment.
At COMZ's aerial support centers, skilled personnel use the latest techniques in rigging and airdrop. Techniques which have been developed and perfected, many of them, by COMZ personnel. COMZ parachute soldiers are trained to parachute nearly any item of combat equipment and to go with it, to ensure its safe arrival in support of United States ground forces all over Europe. Working with the United States Air Force, this specialized element of COMZ makes certain that priority cargo gets to the men who need it and gets there in a hurry. Today, the demands of preparedness take many and highly specialized forms. For example, at key points throughout Europe, COMZ operates equipment repair